Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 3rd of November 2022 and the global cryptocurrency market yesterday did go down when Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell announced the interest rate. Now in yesterday's episode, I did talk about if Jerome Powell will be under some political pressure and if he would actually bend down to the pressure by left-leaning Joe Biden and if the interest rate would probably be less than 75 basis points, but that was not the case. So it looks like Jerome Powell is focusing on reducing the inflation rate to 2%, and because of which the massive news in the cryptocurrency world, in the fintech world, and generally talking about geopolitical world is that the Federal Reserve Board has increased the interest rate to 75 basis points. Now the central bank in UAE literally copy-paste the exact same information and looks like the UAE central bank will also be increasing the interest rate to 75 basis points. And I'm pretty much sure every other part in the world, they tend to do that as well. So it looks like the last quarter of 2022, so far as global cryptocurrency is concerned, may not necessarily end in a bullish market. And Willy Woo, who's one of the Bitcoin maximalists and OG in the cryptocurrency space, did actually say that the all-time high that Bitcoin experienced of $69,000 might have just been the very last all-time high Bitcoin could have experienced, but it's going to be really interesting to see with central bank digital currencies in play, how will the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies react. And in today's episode, we're also going to be talking about MiCA, that is Market in Crypto Assets, which is all the way from Europe. And there is some warning if you are a crypto price influencer, and I'll be discussing what that warning is all about. And as a matter of fact, in today's news, when I talk about UAE, the Dubai Financial Services Authority has also given some clarification, which I'll just talk about later on in just a few minutes. And in today's episode, we're also going to be discussing some drama between Tether USDT and Bloomberg LP. And a few months ago, I also talked about how there is drama between CoinDesk and Tether USDT. So we'll be exploring that. And there's some other drama going on so far as stablecoins is concerned. And this has to do with USDC, and the volumes have gone ridiculously low. And CZ, who is the CEO of Binance, did actually make a comment, and he made a comment about central bank digital currencies, if they will be a threat to cryptocurrencies. But my big question is, will CBDCs will be a threat to stablecoins and Ripple? So we'll be exploring quite a lot of things in today's episode. Now guys, regarding UAE, I have both news on both of them are massive news. And the first one is DMCC, that is Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. They have partnered with South Korea to boost ties for blockchain and Web 3.0. And the second massive news is the news from Dubai Financial Services Authority, also called as DFSA. And they have a crypto token regime which does take into place from the 1st of November. So quite a lot of news to unpack today. So welcome everyone, it's A-Team here in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes of the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And every Friday, that is tomorrow, we do have a Metaverse Everything podcast where we solely focus on Metaverse. And there's so much of hype and fluff going on in and around Metaverse and Web 3.0. So every Friday's episode is dedicated only to Metaverse, and the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And guys, what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn profile, so please follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, the 10th edition of the world-renowned flagship, that is Global Blockchain Congress by Agora Group, is taking place on November 23rd and 24th at Sofitel, Dubai, the Palm, and there will be more than 60 speakers, 150 investors, 30 sponsors, and these sponsors offer metaverse, gaming, NFTs, and DeFi projects looking to raise funds, 20 media partners, and more than 300 delegates. So listen guys, if you're a blockchain startup looking to raise funds, join Agora on this special edition on the Global Blockchain Congress and have a one-to-one meeting with pre-qualified investors. And this edition's main themes are digital assets regulations in the GCC, Web3 platforms, metaverse, gaming, and NFTs. Now remember guys, the spots are limited, so register online via the link in the show notes below, or go to Agora's LinkedIn page, or go to the website. All the details are in the show notes below. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race. And Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, since we've taken care of that, let's look at the price as of 3rd of November. Now, yesterday, at roughly around 10:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, Jerome Powell did go live and he announced the interest rate. Now, what I've been doing, guys, for the past 6 months or so, every time Jerome Powell goes live and when he's explaining the hike in the interest rate, I tend to look at the global crypto market. Now, while he's explaining, there is no movement in the price of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, but 4 to 5 hours after the news is announced, that's when there is a massive deviation in the price of Bitcoin and global cryptocurrency market. And the answer is pretty simple, because that's when the mainstream media, they tend to put out their own narrative, which has a significant impact on the global crypto market. So yesterday also what happened is that after the announcement at 10:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, the prices remained the same, but at 3 a.m. in the morning, the prices did go down and the global crypto market was way below the $1 trillion mark. But I decided let's wait for a bit, and the prices did actually pump up. The global crypto market, as of 3 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, is over $1 trillion, and it is at $1.01 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.60%. The total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is at $105.85 billion. So what did actually happen after the announcement? The prices did go down and the prices went back again. And that's the reason why the volume is ridiculously high. I wouldn't say it's ridiculously high, but in comparison to, let's say, 2022, the volume is definitely up. As a matter of fact, it is up by 45.42% since the last 24 hours. If you look at the volume of DeFi, it has marginally gone up to $6 billion. Now, what is really surprising is that the total value locked has gone down since the last 24 hours. So it looks like there is a lot of selling going on so far as the volume of DeFi is concerned. And the total value locked is $54.41 billion. And out of that, MakerDAO accounts for 14.69% with $7.96 billion locked in MakerDAO protocol. And if you talk about the volume of DeFi, it accounts for 5.67% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now guys, what I want you to do is pay attention to the volume of stable coins. Now since the market was fluctuating, especially since the last 24 hours, the volume of stable coins has shot up to $91.54 billion. But listen to this guys, out of the $91.54 billion, Tether USDT accounts for $76.64 billion. So roughly $20 billion in Tether USDT has gone up in comparison to yesterday, and the total volume of all stablecoins is also roughly up by $20 billion. So is it possible that Tether USDT is being utilized to manipulate the market? Now if you look at the numbers, that's clearly what it says. And if you look at USDC's volume, it has marginally gone up since the last 24 hours, and it is at $5.69 billion. And Binance USD is at $8.58 billion. And in today's episode, guys, I'm also going to be talking about some old drama between Tether USDT and Bloomberg. And looks like the old drama has been resurfaced once again. And the volume of stablecoin accounts for 86.51% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now what I've been noticing, especially since the last 1 month or so, the volume of stablecoins has been going up, and it accounts for a lesser percentage of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and that is absolutely brilliant. And the reason why that is brilliant is because earlier in the year, for roughly 9 months or so, the volume of stablecoins used to account for roughly around $30 to $40 billion. Those were really scary and really worrisome numbers. But since the last month or so, what I'm seeing is that the volume has gone up, most often about $100 billion, and the percentage has gone down, which is absolutely brilliant, which means people are focusing on cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now guys, let's talk about some really interesting metrics, especially since the last 24 hours, and this is more to do with NFTs. Now the Flow blockchain has shot up by 14.3%. Now really I'm not sure if there's some update particularly to do with Flow blockchain, because apart from it going up by 14.3%, even the market cap has gone up by $1.90 billion. So if you do know any updates so far as Flow blockchain is concerned, please mention that in the comments below. And what I'm going to do is, after I do my podcast, I'm definitely going to research something more about Flow blockchain as well. The only thing that I did actually read was that Dapper Labs, which is behind Flow blockchain, are actually making people redundant. So the news is kind of exactly opposite of why the price of Flow blockchain has gone up. Now if you look at the market cap of the second NFT platform, that is ApeCoin, it is also marginally up by 1.6%, and it is currently at $1.38 billion. Now the third platform as of 3rd of November is Chiliz, and looks like Sandbox has taken the 4th place. Now Chiliz market cap is at $1.28 billion, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 3.7%. Now guys, let's look at the market share, because it looks like Ethereum's market share is gradually gaining momentum, and it is a little over 50% of that of Bitcoin's market share. And as of today, Ethereum's market share is $189 billion, whereas Bitcoin's market share is $389 billion. And if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, both have gone up. Bitcoin's trading volume is $59.2 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $23.18 billion. Now surprisingly, the dominance has gone down for Ethereum and for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dominance as of 3rd of November 2022 is 38.60%, and Ethereum's dominance is down to 18.37%. Now guys, this week I'm going to be talking about the market cap of privacy coins, that is Monero, and Monero's market cap is steady at $2.72 billion. Zcash is at $793 million. Decred is at $398 million. Harmony is at $255 million. And Mask Network, which I talked about yesterday, is at number 5 and it is at $246 million. So really critical metric, especially the fact that the interest rate has been announced. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is at $20,279, and as a matter of fact, after the announcement, or to be precise 4 to 5 hours after the announcement, the price of Bitcoin did go down below the $20,000 mark, but it has shot up. But since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.65%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.34%. Ethereum is at $1,554, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.30%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 0.13%. Binance Coin is at $332, so it looks like the interest rate hike has not made any impact so far as the price of Binance BNB is concerned, and it is up by 4.04% since the last 24 hours, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 15.46%. Now guys, the massive news which took place yesterday, and I was a bit surprised that Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell did not fall down to the political pressures of the left-leaning Joe Biden, and that is absolutely great if you are an American. And Jerome Powell did announce the interest rate hike at 75 basis points. Now, if you look at it at a macro level, this is definitely not ideal, but it is something that is needed in order to reduce the inflation numbers. Now guys, listen, what I would really recommend you to do is, rather than listening to news from mainstream media such as CNBC, Reuters or Forbes, go to YouTube, listen to the entire video by Jerome Powell. It is only 45 minutes long and there are quite a lot of questions and answers. And Jerome Powell did clearly mention that the labor market is looking really good and the demand for labor strongly outweighs the supply. So a recession in US is most likely not going to happen anytime soon. So when you hear about news regarding recession by mainstream media, unfortunately, these are misleading information, incorrect information, or even false information. Now, he did share some concern about high inflation rates in other parts of the world. He particularly talked about the conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine and how that could have a severe impact not just on Europe but also in UK. And he did mention about UK's inflation rate being high and how that could potentially have an impact on US as well. So really recommend you to go ahead and listen to the 45 minutes interview. And he did answer quite a lot of challenging questions as well, but he did stick to his gun in saying that they are focusing on reducing the inflation to down to 2%, and it just might take at least another couple of years, maybe by 2024 as well. A key point to note is that the committee anticipates that ongoing increases in the target range will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. And he also mentioned that he'll be having a meeting with the Bank of International Settlement and quite a lot of leading players so far as the monetary aspect is concerned, probably in the next couple of weeks or so. And guys, go to Federal Reserve Board's website, and if you do want to truly understand how recession is defined and the details of recession, the website to go is Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it gives you a detailed breakdown of which sectors and which industries the inflation has gone up. And he talked about how rent prices are increasing, how the grocery prices are increasing, quite a lot more. So if you do want to read through the information, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. And if you want to listen to Jerome Powell talk, the information is via the Federal Reserve Board website and the YouTube channel. Now guys, regarding Europe, there are some massive news. And MiCA, which is Markets in Crypto Asset, they have released some documentation. And that documentation has some stark warning for crypto price influencers. And Patrick Hansen, who's the director of EU strategy and policy for Circle stablecoin, that is USDC, did actually mention via Twitter that commenting on crypto assets in social media without disclosure and profiting from the effects of that will be considered market manipulation in the European Union. And this is what is clearly outlined in Markets in Crypto Assets document as well. So if you want to read through the report, I provided the official link in my LinkedIn profile, and the report is extremely lengthy, but it just means that, because when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, there is no central entity involved. So a lot of crypto price influencers, they artificially pump the price of a specific cryptocurrency that they are associated with. Now, it's so critical that you do not listen to crypto influencers because they have their own vested interest in this. I'll be really curious to see where does Michael Saylor fit in, because he does provide quite a lot of misleading, fake news as well. And I'm really hoping that he's one person that should be severely questioned, particularly as he keeps often giving misleading and incorrect information. And particularly about Bitcoin, he has said at least 6 to 7 wrong information. And the reason why he's doing is that he has a vested interest in Bitcoin, and he has quite a lot of followers, and the followers do blindly believe in him. They would buy more Bitcoin, the prices of Bitcoin increases, and his own existing net worth in Bitcoin would actually increase. So listen guys, make sure that you look at information directly from first source. Now guys, let's talk about some drama between Tether USDT and Bloomberg. And Bloomberg on the 31st of October did actually mention that Tether USDT's bank fraud probe gets fresh look by Justice Department and federal prosecution in Manhattan. And if you read through the article, the US attorney did actually say that there are very few cases where the cases gets transferred to another department. So it could be possible that Tether USDT could be in some dire problem. And the US attorney, that is Damian Williams in Manhattan, specializes in criminal activity so far as finance and cryptocurrencies is concerned. Now in response to that, Tether USDT did put out a blog which states that the spreading of false information is the highest threat to cryptocurrency industry that currently exists, and Bloomberg has proven themselves time and time again to be desperate for attention in an industry that they just do not understand. So read through the article. In fact, the blog is titled Bloomberg Fishes Age-old News for Headlines Here. Now listen guys, if you know the history of Tether USDT and the company associated, that is Bitfinex, they are notoriously known for manipulating data, and this goes back to 2018 and 19, where there were a lot of theories that Tether USDT was the one to artificially create Tether USDT out of thin air, buy more Bitcoin, and that actually pumped the price of Bitcoin and quite a lot of other things. And if you know the history of Tether USDT, they had a bank, and the bank apparently did not give them $800 to $900 million, because of which they did another ICO, or rather more of a security token offering called as LEOUSD, and that's how they claim to have the backing for Tether USDT. So a lot of drama between Tether USDT. Now apart from that, there's some more drama on stablecoins, and Bitcoin.com has stated that $3 billion was erased from dollar-pegged token economy called as HUSD, and it has been depegged, and even USDC supply has dropped by 10% because Circle had a valuation of around $47.20 billion 30 days ago, but today it is down to roughly around $42 billion. Now could this be because of the drama between Binance and Circle? Now I did talk about it. What happened is that what Binance is trying to do is they're planning to club a couple of stable coins, convert them into Binance USD. And what I've been noticing, guys, and what I've been saying in my podcast pretty much every day, in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, is the volume of Circle USDC has been going down for the past 3 months or so, and the volume of Binance USD has been picking up pace. So the big question is, 5 years down the line, who do you think wins the war on stable coins? Now could it be possible that central bank digital currencies be a threat to stable coins? Now Binance CEO CZ does actually say that CBDCs will not be a threat to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. I definitely agree to that, but could it be possible that CBDCs pose a threat to stable coins and even RippleNet? I definitely do think so. Now guys, let's talk about 2 news regarding UAE. But before we move on to 2 crypto and blockchain news regarding UAE, I have 2 news regarding obstacle course race in UAE. The first news is about Spartan Race, and they have a massive event in December, the World Championship. And this is the second time they have the World Championship event in Abu Dhabi. And guys, I have a standalone episode with Spartan Race founder Joe Cena talking about Spartan Race NFT. And Sean, who's the Chief Technology Officer, was also in the podcast. And Calvin, who's one of the OGs in the NFT space, was at the podcast as well. So we discussed from a business point of view, why did Spartan Race decide to go ahead and launch its NFT, what were the challenges, and quite a lot more. So please check out those episodes. It is a standalone episode talking more about NFTs and not so much regarding obstacle course race. And the second message is also about obstacle course race and my favorite one, that is Tough Mudder. And listen guys, I'm on a mission to do my 100th Tough Mudder, so check both the messages now. The first message is from Spartan. Now Spartan is a global fitness brand with 10 million strong community. They create transformational events, experiences, products and content to help people, companies and teams tear down boundaries and expand what they believe to be possible. From day one, nearly 2 decades ago, they've been champions of human transformation and they live to help people get outside, eat healthy and develop habits that lead to a life of constant progress. With families of brands, they push people from every corner of the globe outside the comfort zone and immerse them in a world of tough fitness and elite sports. Now they do this because you can face and overcome adversity head on and your potential is limitless. Now this year in December, in Abu Dhabi, the land of Gazelle, thousands of athletes and spectators will gather at the metropolis in the desert to compete for Spartan immortality. This is a unique opportunity to watch the world's best obstacle course race athletes compete for world championship and have your group conquer the course themselves. The massive event takes place from the 2nd till the 4th of December this year. Now for Spartan World Championship, the ticket details and registration to the programs are mentioned in the links below. Now if you are into running, if you are into adventure, and if you are in UAE, you definitely need to check this out. And the second news, guys, is about Tough Mudder. Now listen guys, there are 3 things that I'm extremely passionate about. All 3 of them have some kind of similarity, that is heavy metal, Bitcoin and obstacle course race. Now we've looked at the premier obstacle course race event, that is Spartan Race, which is taking place between the 2nd and 4th of December. But the next one that I'd like to discuss is Tough Mudder. Now Tough Mudder is unique and I did my very first obstacle course race, that was Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder obstacles are more fun, more adventurous and it involves a lot of teamwork. And you can also use my promo code, which is George25 for a 25% discount. Now if you are into running, if you are into adventure, if you are into obstacle course race, you definitely need to sign up for this event. So go to the website toughmudderarabia.com and you can also follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is toughmudderarabia. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's talk about 2 massive news from UAE and both of them are really great. The second news though, I really am not sure because I do have mixed reaction to this. If you are a cyberpunk and if you're hardcore into cryptocurrencies, you wouldn't necessarily be an advocate of that news, but we'll go ahead and explain and I'll share my thoughts and opinions on that. So the first news is about DMCC, that is Dubai Multi Commodities Center, and they have partnered with South Korea. So the news is DMCC signed a memorandum of understanding with Busan Metropolitan City that'll see the 2 parties work together on connecting the blockchain ecosystem in Dubai and Busan by hosting regular knowledge sharing events and connecting crypto, blockchain and Web3 businesses in the 2 cities. So definitely brilliant news. And the DMCC and the city of Busan signed MOU to collaborate for the benefit of the global blockchain industry. And the agreement was signed during a DMCC roadshow of key South Korean cities of Busan and Seoul. Now guys, if you do follow the CEO of DMCC, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, he does provide constant updates on the partnership between DMCC and South Korea. So definitely brilliant news. And it strengthened ties and boost global blockchain and Web3 industries. And on 26th of October, Crypto.com also signed an MOU with the city of Busan and they had a strategic partnership to advance the blockchain industry. So it looks like South Korea is definitely making massive steps in educating the people of South Korea in Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain and Web 3.0 as well. Now through the DMCC Crypto Center, DMCC and Dubai are playing a critical role in advancing the blockchain and Web3 industries globally. And DMCC's latest MOU with Busan bolsters the Free Zone's global network and reinforces its commitment to building an interconnected blockchain ecosystem. The DMCC Crypto Center represents the largest concentration of blockchain and Web3 companies in the Middle East, with its 450 members operating across every aspect of the industry, from decentralized finance platforms to developing new metaverse experiences. In addition to facilitating collaboration in the blockchain space, DMCC's roadshow also sought to increase ties with the public and private sector in South Korea to boost bilateral trade, particularly in physical commodities such as tea and coffee. So definitely massive and brilliant news. And I do have one of the close associates who has a coffee shop or working in distribution of coffees. So it'll be great to have tie-ups between South Korea and Dubai, not just in cryptocurrencies, but in coffee sector as well. And DMCC also has a specialization sector, so far as coffee is concerned as well. So definitely brilliant news. Now during a 2-day roadshow of Seoul and Busan, DMCC signed a memorandum of understanding with Busan Metropolitan City that will see the two parties work together on connecting the blockchain ecosystem in Dubai and Busan by hosting regular knowledge sharing events and connecting crypto, blockchain and Web3 businesses in two cities. And over the course of the roadshow, DMCC also attended one of Asia's largest blockchain events called as Blockchain Week Busan, participated in Korea International Roundtable for Crypto Exchanges, and held meetings with senior public sector figures to discuss trade, investment, finance, and blockchain. And the CEO, that is Ahmad bin Suleiman, is quite often active on LinkedIn, and he actually said, blockchain and Web3 technologies are revolutionizing industries and sectors across the globe, from finance, healthcare, and gaming to business operations such as supply chain management and the sale of goods and services. As we solidify Emirates' position as a global capital for blockchain and Web 3.0, it is clear that there is substantial opportunity for Dubai and South Korea to collaborate more closely to advance the global industry. Brilliant stuff. And the mayor of Busan Metropolitan City has said Busan has great potential to become a regional hub for blockchain development. This has been reinforced through our partnership with DMCC, which will allow us to replicate the success of the crypto center and develop a strong ecosystem in Busan. We look forward to working with them closely over the coming months. So definitely brilliant stuff. And guys, if you have your license via DMCC, I definitely see tremendous potentials of you guys partnering with firms and investment firms from Busan and vice versa. Now guys, let's talk about the second news, and this is to do with Dubai Financial Services Authority. And the news is that the DFSA crypto token regime comes into force. Now, I'm going to give out information directly from the DFSA website. So the news is that the DFSA Authority crypto regime comes to force on the 1st of November. And this regime forms the second phase of DFSA's work in the area, following the introduction of a regime in DIFC, that is Dubai International Financial Center, for the regulation of investment tokens in October 2021. But what DFSA does is they regularly put out articles and they ask people for commentary. And if you are a technical expert, you can definitely give them commentary. And if they do find it suitable, they definitely do make amendments and they do make changes. And the intention of the crypto token regime is to foster innovation in a measured, responsible, and transparent manner while still meeting the DFSA's regulatory objectives. The DFSA has taken a balanced approach in the development of this regime and will consider, as the sector develops, further changes and amendments to the regime in alignment with best practices and standards adopted by international standard setters. And the regime is comprehensive, covering not only AML, CFT risks in respect of trading, clearing, holding or transferring crypto tokens, but also addressing risks related to consumer protections, market integrity, custody and financial resources for service providers. And the DFSA has extended the scope of many current financial services activities, for example, advising, dealing, arranging, trading and custody, to allow firms in DIFC to be able to provide products and services in relation to crypto tokens. So listen guys, all firms, whether currently authorized by DFSA or not, who wish to carry out businesses relating to crypto tokens in or from the DIFC can apply via the DIFC website. So go to the website guys, the website is dfsa.ae/innovation, that is D for Dubai, F for Frank, S for Sugar, A for Alpha, .ae/innovation, where you must complete a general inquiry contact form. And if you go to the list, they do have very crystal clear information as to which form you need to go ahead and upload. And Ian Johnston, who is the chief executive of DFSA, has said, as a progressive regulator, the DFSA recognizes the growth interest in innovative financial products. Our work to develop a comprehensive token regime has taken into account feedback from a broad range of stakeholders. It aims to strike a balance between encouraging innovation in DIFC and protecting the consumers of these financial products. And this podcast is so critical when you talk about laws, when you talk about rules and regulations. It's so important that you do maintain the regulations at the same time, also support innovation and encourage people to be part of the system. And this is the area where I very strongly feel that Dubai and UAE is definitely taking a massive leap ahead in comparison to other countries, or in comparison to a couple of states, let's say in US or also in UK. So Dubai is definitely moving in the right direction. And guys, some of the ways where DFSA supports innovation are, they have a thing called as running a licensed sandbox, known as the DFSA Innovation Testing License, also called as ITL programs. What that does is, it enables ITL holders to test new and innovative financial products, services, businesses, models. And they've also focused on creating new policy regimes and adapting existing frameworks to accommodate new or evolving business models and their risks. And one thing which I know by living in Dubai for almost 9 years now, that things do tend to take place in a much faster pace than probably anywhere else in the world. And they also are proactively engaging with the market and relevant participants, stakeholders, and the broader community by engaging with innovator startups in the DIFC Hive programs. Now listen guys, go to DIFC Hive. They do have quite a lot of accelerator programs as well. And if you follow them on Instagram, they're quite active on Instagram actually. And they constantly keep having sessions educating the people. And I do think that the people of Dubai and UAE definitely benefits with them. And apart from that, the DFSA is also working with international organizations, particularly the Global Financial Information and quite a lot more. And I do think that DFSA is also a founding member of the Global Financial Innovation Network, also called as GFIN. So loads and loads of information. But there are two ways of looking at it, guys. When you talk about, being a proper cryptocurrency advocate, when you talk about being a cypherpunk, ideally, the less involvement by the government, that is better, because the whole idea and the intention of Bitcoin is separation of money and the state, which means rather than relying on government, rather than relying on central entity, rather than relying on any central medium, we need to rely on cryptography, mathematics, and hashing algorithm. But Dubai is definitely being very supportive and definitely doing a brilliant job at that. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Date and Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. Now listen, guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, there's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 am to 8:30 am, we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. I have a question by Naveen who asks, how will the Fed's interest rate hike impact the end of 22? Now, to be honest, Naveen, if you talk about this question in a purest Bitcoin maximalist point of view, and I'm talking about, not even from the price point of view, just talking about the technology, ideally the answer should be, we don't care about what the interest rate hike is, because when you look at the demand and supply nature of Bitcoin in particular, the supply is fixed, the demand keeps on fluctuating, but theory is different to practicals. And unfortunately, the news of federal interest rate hike does have a massive impact on the price of Bitcoin. Now, there are two ways of looking at it, and this is where the whole cryptocurrency narrative kicks into play. And I'm so glad that Mika has put out restrictions on what cryptocurrency influencers can say. But is it applicable for Bitcoin as well? Now, a cryptocurrency influencers can go both the ways. They could say that the Fed has increased the interest rate by 75 basis points, which means the US dollar is going to collapse, and the only way forward is Bitcoin. And the second way of looking at it is cryptocurrency influencers who are detractors of Bitcoin but want to promote altcoins. They would say the Fed interest rate has increased by 75 basis points, the prices of Bitcoin has gone down, it has not had a massive impact. So that's the reason why we would like to promote an altcoin which does not have any relation to Fed interest rate. So unfortunately, the question is a bit tricky. What I personally think is that news such as this, in the purest sense, should not be having any impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But because of a lot of mainstream media, because of a lot of narrative which is being published by cryptocurrency influencers, that will actually drive the price of Bitcoin. And it depends on, what the cryptocurrency influencers do actually say. And it also depends what some of the Bitcoin whales would want to do with reference to the price of Bitcoin. Now, I'm a massive fan of Elon Musk. Now, that being said, what happens if Elon Musk just puts out a tweet stating that, we don't want to use Bitcoin anymore, we just want to focus on Dogecoin? If that thing happens, the price of Bitcoin will go down ridiculously low, and the price of Dogecoin, which has been on an uptrend, will have a massive impact. So those are the things that you also need to focus on. Now, personally, I do think that the Fed interest rate hike will continue towards the end of the year. And based on my prediction, I do think that the price of Bitcoin will be pretty much the same. But in the month of December, because people tend to get a lot of bonuses, they get year-end bonus, the spirit is about spending, the prices of Bitcoin might probably pump up maybe to $25,000 or so. And in the month of January, when people start paying the bills, they tend to start selling the Bitcoins. And historically, January has been the month where the prices of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies do fall down. And one thing which I mentioned, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast pretty much once a week is that the total value locked in DeFi on the 3rd of January was $242 billion. And fast forward to 3rd of November, the total value locked in DeFi is at only $53 billion. So it looks like more than $200 billion from the DeFi sector has completely disappeared. And it's going to be really interesting to see once central bank digital currency kicks in, how that will have an impact. But going back to your question about, the Fed interest rate hike, I know for a fact that Willy Woo was one of the Bitcoin maximalists who often uses Tether USDT quite a lot and other stable coins. He has said that Bitcoin most likely will not see a new all-time high. And apart from that plan B, some of his predictions have come true, some of the predictions have not come true. He also echoes the same thing, that most likely till 2023, the prices will not be going up. So to answer your question, how will the Fed interest rate hike impact the price of Bitcoin towards 2022? I think it will be pretty much the same, but towards December, it might just go up to maybe $25,000. But all this thing being said, Naveen, none of this is financial advice, and all my price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. And you also need to understand, Naveen, that now in 2022, pretty much everyone is aware of what Bitcoin is. Everyone knows, even the inner workings of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And right now, the massive hype is about Web 3.0. If I look at my LinkedIn, believe it or not, out of 10 posts that I see, 6 or 7 of them have to do with Web 3.0. So I do feel with the whole Fed interest rate hike, a lot of the investments will not necessarily be going into cryptocurrencies, and it'll be going to startups who are focusing more on Web 3.0. And to be honest, when I read through the articles by the so-called specialists in Web 3.0, if you look to their LinkedIn profile, they have just got introduced to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies just 3 to maximum of 6 months ago. And a lot of the information that they're saying is absolutely incorrect. So you also need to keep all these things in mind and then make a decision how it will impact. And I'm hoping that the Tether versus Bloomberg situation does not escalate. Cause listen, Naveen, if Tether USDT were to go belly up, that would be the biggest black swan event, not just for stable coins, not just for cryptocurrencies, not just for Bitcoin, but the entire fintech sector. The impact of Tether USDT's collapse would just might be 25 times or maybe 40 times more than that of Terra Luna's collapse. So that's what my take on the drama between Tether USDT and Bloomberg is concerned. So that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is area2071.com, that gives all information about Metaverse. And also check out my Blockchain DXB website that gives all information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, and Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, guys, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. Use that as an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day. Bye-bye.